From recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex, I'm your host, Steve Urban, and here is your Riderflex episode of the day. And on today's episode of the Riderflex Nation podcast, we have Brandon Ford, the founder and CEO of TripHero. They're an industry leader in luggage and ski gear shipping, delivery, and storage. Brandon, how you doing today?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for being on the Riderflex podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So are you in Vail today?
In snowy, cold Vail, and it's October 30th. Got about 12 inches of fresh out there and 9 degrees.
Now is that early for Vail, or is that about right? I don't know for sure on the snowfall.
This is a little early. It's usually mid-November, so a few weeks early.
Okay. And do you live in Vail full time?
Sort of, yeah. I call it home base, yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, that's a pretty nice place to live, right?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, personally, before we get into TripHero. Give us the Brandon story early on, a little bit about his family and where he grew up, and then kind of roll into school if you want to.
Yeah. So I grew up a lot of different places. So New York, Cincinnati, Ohio, Dallas, Texas, etc.
So your parents moved around a lot, huh?
Yeah. And I was raised by a single mother. And a grandma and aunt, so raised by 3 women basically.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. And kind of done entrepreneurial stuff since I was really, really young. I would go around the neighborhood, collect cans and sell candy and all that since I was 5. So
really? Okay.
I've been doing this type of stuff for a while.
Okay. All right. Where'd you get that from? Was your mom or your aunt or your grandma or somebody? Did you?
Yeah, my grandma pushed me. I spent every day with her when I was young, up until, learned taught me how to read real early, all that stuff.
Is that right?
And just always had probably gave me a little bit overconfidence sometimes.
Well, they tend to do that, right? That's okay though. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you were buying and selling stuff and learning cash early on.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And you moved around a lot. All right.
Yep.
I thought you were from New York originally.
Yeah. So I'd spent most of my time from New York. It's kind of where I claim.
Okay. All right.
But I'd spent also Cincinnati and Dallas, Texas.
Okay. But you went to high school. You graduated somewhere in New York?
I graduated in high school in Cincinnati, then moved to New York full-time in college.
Okay. All right. So you moved to New York to go to Fordham, I think, or Columbia. Columbia.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's why I moved full-time. Otherwise, I'd spend the summers there with my aunt and grandma.
Okay. So you grew up, I'm guessing you grew up in a middle-class family, right? There's no trust fund stuff, no super wealthy family money there, right? I'm guessing.
It's probably middle class would not be appropriate. My mother had when she was like 17, so we had some time where we struggled a bit. So grew up in some tough neighborhoods and stuff like that, and then my aunt,
and got into Columbia at New York.
Yep. Yeah,
that's a big deal. That's why I wanted to touch on that. Okay.
Well, thank you.
So that's a huge deal. So and you moved to New York by yourself and went to Columbia just like that. Boom.
Yep.
Congratulations. That was a big deal. All right. So you how old are you then? 19 or something like that?
So I went right out of high school. I went to the Marines.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And unfortunately, I injured my shoulder really bad, so I had to I got a medical discharge. Technically, it's called erroneous enlistment because it's something I had injured when I pitched. So I had that. That was tough, and then I moved to after getting out of the Marines. That's when I moved to New York full time.
And got into school.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was fun. It was. I wouldn't trade that experience forever. It's somewhere I wanted to go ever since I was a little kid.
Really?
I've always looked up to Alexander Hamilton.
Okay.
And he was kind of my role model as a kid, and read all his stuff, and he went there, etc. And it was fun. One of my best friends drove me out there. Had like $40 in my pocket. So
well, you walk into the admissions office and they put you in your dorm room and you got $40 cash.
Yeah, $40 cash. So I worked a lot while I was in school too. So I delivered they had a program where you could deliver the New York Times. So I delivered the New York Times every morning. So I
Wow.
get up at 4:00 in the morning, deliver New York Times. And the cool thing about that was I got paid every day cash. So
Okay.
that's how
Okay.
I paid for food and stuff. And then everything. So the first year after that, though, I did really well, and then kind of got a full ride. And Columbia was great on that with my background and provided scholarships and stuff like that.
What? Okay, so hold on. Let's just recap. So you come from, like you said, middle class to slightly under an income level, family level
Call
stuff.
it the projects. I come from the projects.
All right, all right. Come from the projects. You
Be
go,
truthful. Like we struggled when we were young. So
and you join the Marines, but it doesn't work out because you get hurt. But then you go to you get in Columbia, and then you kick ass and end up getting the rest of it paid for. Wow. Okay, that's another big deal. Congratulations.
thanks.
All right. And when did you decide you were going to go to law school? Because obviously I see that in your profile.
Yeah. So weird thing. So I graduated. I was supposed to graduate in 2002.
Okay.
So I had a job lined up with in investment banking, and then September 11th happened. So a lot of our jobs. I've had the worst record of graduation timelines out of anybody. So the first time undergrad 2002. So everything right after September 11th, all the banks and stuff, pulled back on their hiring. So I got my offer from the bank rescinded, and then so I decided to do another minor, stayed in school for another year, and that's when I decided to go to law school because I couldn't go to business. My plan was to go to business school, but then you needed 2 years experience to apply to top 15 business schools.
Okay.
And then I ended up going to law school.
All right. Were you sure you wanted to be a lawyer, or you did? You're like, I guess I'll go, or you were like, okay, I want to be a lawyer now.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I didn't think about it enough. Like that was something I should have thought about more. So if anybody's out there thinking about going to any kind of graduate school, make sure you really want to go because it's expensive and et cetera. There's loans, still paying them. So,
Okay.
yeah, looking back, I probably should. I didn't love it, and it's for an entrepreneur, somebody a little bit of ADD like me. Law school's
Not the place.
not the place. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get out of law school. Then what happens?
So I graduated law school. I had a job lined up doing some licensing and stuff for a men's clothing company. But again, my great timing of graduation, I graduated in 2007 from law school. So I had a job for a few months.
Yeah, I was going to say that was right before the crap hit the fan, right?
Yeah. So February 2008,
Okay.
found myself unemployed. I had done a bunch of legal stuff for campaigns in the past in undergrad and law school.
Okay.
So I worked for the campaign during the presidential campaign. I worked on a kind of independent poll watching, making sure everything was kosher on both sides of the fence.
Does that pay? Does that pay, or is that volunteer?
It starts off as volunteer. I volunteered first, but then they brought me on because I was pretty good at it, I guess, and then traveled around through the primaries, traveled around through the election, all that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. All right.
But this is going September, October 2008. Everything's just falling apart. New York, there were no jobs. I mean, just none. And back then, your unemployment ran out really quickly. I think I can't remember, it was 6 months. So I had to fight for my unemployment because that's another story. But so my unemployment ran out. There were no jobs in New York, like none. Like you couldn't even get a job at McDonald's if you wanted it.
Meanwhile, the school bills are coming in now. Now you're having to pay back all the school debt too. That's hitting your mailbox.
Yeah, those things are brutal.
Now, are you married or do you have a partner or any kind?
Yep.
Are you in a
Married now.
relationship?
Yep.
Were you married? Were you married then?
Nope.
Okay, so single, no kids at that time or anything like that.
Yeah, single, no kids.
Right. Okay.
So I decided one thing I did that I probably shouldn't be mentioning, I guess it's going to get out someday.
Okay.
During the third year of law school, I took all paper classes and I moved to Vail and worked at the ski school while I was still in law school.
Wow. All right. Wait, are you not supposed to do that?
No, you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know.
I didn't go to class like once. I just flew back and took the exams.
Well, okay. But still, all right. But still, you found a way to get it done. But now, okay. Now, how did you decide to move to Vail though? How'd that happen?
I always loved Vail. I came out here when I was a young kid. Like one of the things that I did, other kids that are, from backgrounds like myself, where from struggling areas, something I always looked, and something I learned early is to model people. Like what are people like? What are the people you want to be like? And
Okay.
then what do they do?
All right.
And that goes all the way down to what they're doing in business and what they do for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into golf and skiing because the people I wanted to be like golfed and skied.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I came out here on my first college trip. I had some good money when I was in college and stuff because I worked a lot on the side with trade stocks, all that stuff. So came out here with friends and experienced Vail and just like loved it, absolutely loved it.
And then at some point you said to yourself, okay, I don't want to go back there and go to school full time. So I'm going to figure out how to stay here and finish my law degree.
Yeah, so
And,
stay here, finish my law degree because I knew figuring I was gonna once I started law, I was gonna be working 180,
okay.
100 hours a week for the next 10 years, right?
Okay.
Um,
And
so
you're humping it working as a bellhop or something at the hotel or something like that.
this not yet. Then I was at the ski school, so that year was kind of fun. So I worked probably a few hours a day. My office was basically at the top of Vail Mountain, uh,
Sweet.
so
Sweet.
it was great. Skied 88 days that year. That was
Wow.
good fun,
Okay.
and did well in law school, except for one professor wouldn't grade my exam because I wasn't ever there.
He called you out on it, huh? He was like, hey,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
All
Guess it's
right.
fair. Guess it's
All
fair.
right. Now, at this stage, are you thinking I'm going to be a lawyer in Vail and I'm going to have a
No,
practice here? What?
I mean, I can't believe I'm here now. I love New York and miss it, and I love it here. But like, ideally, be like half the year in New York. But I thought I'd be. That's the thing. I thought I'd be going back and working in a, legal corporate life for,
Okay.
the foreseeable future.
Okay. So you're like a ski instructor or something and you got your law degree. So then what happens?
So went back to New York and worked those uh, from July. I think it was July 15th, July 30th. I had saved up a bunch of money, so I took after graduation in May. I went to Italy for a few months, which is always the first time I was ever out of the country.
Sweet.
Had always thought about doing that, so saved up a bunch of money to do that.
Okay.
Think when I came back, and I think it was like late July, early September, started working there. September, October, November, December, January, and then got laid off in early February.
Whew, man. Okay. Several hurdles so far in life already. You just keep jumping over them, though.
Yeah.
What was your plan?
Plan after being laid off.
Yep.
So like that's when I started working for the campaign. I had no plan. I was like,
Oh, okay. I see. All right. Now I
yeah,
got the timeline. Okay.
yeah. So then I started working for the campaign and didn't really know what to do because there were literally no jobs. So that's when I decided, I had connections in Vail. I knew there was a new place opening called the Vail Mountain Club. And my old boss from Vail had mentioned that I should apply when I told them that, hey, I'm unemployed. So I was literally out here October 31st. So I guess this is it. Tomorrow's the anniversary for 11 years in Colorado.
All right. Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
So worked there. I got a job at the Vail Mountain Club. It's a super exclusive, high-end ski club, and it was one of the best things I've done. It was great meeting the people. I have several mentors from there. I mean, the place is 400 members. Half of them are billionaires. Super great people. A lot of connections in New York. Some of the people that are club members have been where I raised the money to launch. And it's just opened up a huge network for me and of super great people. And just being around like that success and all these experienced people was just super inspiring.
I see. Okay, great. All right. So lots of mentoring and people that you could go to for advice and wisdom and all those kinds of things. And so some early seed money came from there then.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Investors that are still invested.
Okay. So now when you're working at the hotel, so talk to us about how TripHero got started. And I think it was called something else before. So walk us into that story. So you're there, you're working that resort, you're making some great contacts, you're meeting some billionaires, so they're giving you some advice. You got the entrepreneurial bug. walk us through how this TripHero came to be.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I was reading an article in the New York Times. It was like, I want to say January like 10th or so, like 2013, 2014. So I'd been there for a while. I got real involved in Vail Resorts. Really liked the company. You know, met a lot of the executives and stuff through the club. Really admired what they were doing. Like Rob Katz, Chris Jarneau, some big names in the ski industry. They were super awesome.
Okay.
Have those connections and a little bit of mentorship from them. And I read this article though in 2013, 2014, in New York Times by a writer, Bill Pennington. And I still remember the quote that really honestly just kind of pissed me off. It's like, packing for a winter ski trip is so daunting, overwhelming, and stressful that many people simply give up and refuse to go away for the winter. And it honestly just made me mad. And so put the bug in my head that, whoa, there's got to be a better way. And it was great because I saw it. You know, I saw these members of the mountain club, like I said, you know, multi-millionaires schlepping their stuff through the streets and having trouble with getting all their stuff together. And I was like, whoa, there's just got to be a better way. So I started doing some market research. You know, I had some industry contacts. You know, started off thinking we were doing skis only. So we started off as ski pods, and everything was kind of built around the product, the ski pod. Actually, it's right here. I'll show you a little picture of the
yeah, let's check it out.
Prototype. So this is the, can you even see it?
Okay.
So it's like this was the prototype, but we got real ones. Now, if you can see, can you see that?
I see. So, okay, but didn't those already exist? Didn't containers to ship your ski stuff exist already? I don't know. Walk me through.
Yeah. So they existed, but there was nothing on the market that was hard-sided and that would hold all your stuff.
I see.
It's like a ski locker. It's like a portable, shippable ski locker. And that was kind of the concept that I had in my head as a portable, shippable ski locker versus like just a regular piece of luggage.
So your helmet, your boots, all your stuff.
Yep. Everything goes in there.
Gotcha.
So we started off with that, but when we first started raising money, we had all this. We had the market research, talked to people about what they would buy, how much they'd pay for it. But as we started getting seeking investment, people were like, "Hey, have you made any money? Have you got your first customer? How much money have you made, etc." So we just started shipping people's own stuff. So you didn't necessarily have to have the pod because we didn't have them built yet at the time. We were just shipping people's own ski bags for them.
So let me take a pause right there. So let me make sure I understand. So you had this idea, you had some friends, some rich friends in this place that you'd made contacts with, and you developed a relationship. You got some seed money, and at some point pretty quickly, somebody said, "Hey bro, you need some revenue coming in." and you're like, well, we don't have the pods made yet. And they're like, "Okay, well, I know, but I want to see revenue. Like we need revenue."
Yeah,
and so
I think the quote was, "Brandon, just start shipping shit."
Okay.
I think that's literally the quote from the investor meeting.
They're like, I can almost hear that conversation, right? They're almost like, "Yeah, I know you need to make these pods, but I need my stuff shipped right now, and you could get customers right now. Somebody will pay you right now to just take care of it."
Yep, exactly. And so that's what we did. You know, we initially we thought we were going to just ship skis, right? And literally, I have a picture in my mind, like our third customer, me and one of my co-founders, Jason. We literally showed up, and this customer was like, "Brandon, can you ship my luggage as well?" And that's kind of when the light went off, like not just ski pods, but TripHero.
So let me make sure I understand. So if I'm in Vail and I'm getting ready to fly back to New York, you just come by my place, my condo in Vail, and just get all my stuff and just take care of it. I don't have to worry about packing it or taking it to the airport or calling FedEx or any of that crap. You just take care of it.
Yeah, that's the biggest question we get from our customers. They're always like, when are you gonna send our labels? What about putting on our labels? Like, we do that for you. You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. You just okay. All right.
Totally seamless, hands-free experience.
Somebody comes by your house and gets it.
Yep. Yep. At the resort, on the resort side. Yep.
Oh, I see. I see. If you're at the resort, they'll come up to your room and just get your stuff.
Yep.
Or go to your condo and get your stuff. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. All right. So you got the seed money. You got you're on your third customer, and I can almost visualize it. Let me guess. You show up at his door, and he's got all his bags and stuff there too. He's like, "Hey man, can you just take these too?"
Yeah. And my two co-founders, Jason and Bethany, were like, "We didn't think about that." And I'm like, "Oh, we could do it." And then the story it's hilarious. It's like we didn't contemplate shipping luggage, right? We didn't think of it. And that customer helped us think about that. And then we show up to we had no idea what we were doing. So Jason and I show up to the FedEx ship center out here and just walk in with 8-9 bags, and like the teller's just looking at us, and she literally looks at us like, "You guys don't know what the F you were doing."
And by the way, what'd you have the skis in? Because you didn't have your pod built yet. So what were those in? Just regular
we boxed them up.
You boxed them up. Okay.
Yeah. We were using boxes then, or people's own luggage, but mostly boxes.
So let me understand. So you and your two partners, are they co-founders, by the way, or just just
co-founders?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Okay. So here's these 3 co-founders walking into this FedEx facility, and you have no idea what the plan is or what you're doing. You're like, I guess we got to go figure out how much this is going to. Did you even know how much it was going to cost, by the way?
No, we didn't know anything. I knew we were just, and that's something, I mean, to other entrepreneurs, like, don't be afraid of not knowing.
Okay. Well, how much did you know to charge the guy though? You didn't know how much to charge him, did you?
Yeah. So we charged them, like, we gave him a rate. We said, I just took a wild guess. And so we charged them. We made money off that first ship. I still got the receipt around here somewhere.
Okay. All right. Wow. So then all of a sudden you said, "Hey, this is not just shipping skis and pods. This is shipping people's stuff back and forth."
Yeah, all their stuff. Like, and that's what it's. And then so we knew right then that we were going to change the name away from Ski Pods this week, and then that next summer we changed it to TripHero. And now 70-80% of what we ship is just luggage.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I want to back up for a second here. I want to make sure I understand. Let's go back to when you're having these early conversations. What's your first conversation with a contact that has money to get the seed money? Like, what are you just like? Are you at dinner with them? Or are you having a happy hour and you're like, "Hey man, I got this idea, but I need to be funded. Would you be interested?" I want to know how that went. Talk me through. And the reason I want to dig in there is, Brandon, is because I think a lot of listeners, they want to be an entrepreneur. They want to be a business owner. They have a decent idea, but they just really don't know how to go about getting the seed money, or they're not comfortable with it, or they've never done it, and that's
I wasn't comfortable with it. And that's, as an entrepreneur, you got to get real comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I love it. Oh, that's the best quote I've had in a while. So I just want to know, like, how'd those early conversations go? Can you describe it? You don't have to mention who these people are, obviously, but just how'd that go? Like, what'd you say to them?
Yeah, so I was real lucky in the network I had. I mean, at the Mountain Club, most of the people there were entrepreneurs in some way themselves, right?
Gotcha. Right.
So, and I had studied this stuff a little bit, but it was still totally uncomfortable. But the thing, I mean, I didn't have a proper pitch deck or a business plan.
You didn't have a business plan. You didn't have a PowerPoint deck. None of that.
Yeah, and the first one, it's horrible looking back on it. But the big thing is, I think, just ask. That's something I've learned. I was horrible. Like, the environment I grew up with, people in inner cities, they don't help each other out, but people in business do. And it's like, it's amazing when I tell, I won't mention his name, but one of the super successful guys, and I even today I could call him right now and he would answer. He answered me on a plane on his way to Davos once. So, like,
wow,
the people like that, to successful people, and that's why I'm on this call. That's why I'm taking. I mean, I'm slammed right now, but taking this, so, like, my way to give back a little bit, right?
That's awesome. Yep.
And people love to help, and that's something you need to learn. And don't be afraid to ask. If you don't know, there's books for everything, and that's something I learned as a kid. Is like, there's a book for everything. You need to learn how to do something. There's a book, but there's also a person that takes 20 to 30 minutes that can teach you the same thing as a whole book. So don't be afraid to ask. Like, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to talk about funding, find your local entrepreneur organization and call them and say, hey, I don't know crap about funding. Can you help me?
And it sounds like you don't have to have a perfect plan or a perfect pitch deck or a 5-year financial model. You can just have the conversations early. It's possible.
Like, that's as a founder too, I would eliminate that word from your vocabulary. Perfect.
That's good. Yeah. You got some good ones in here already. I love it.
Yeah, that's like the perfect is the is the enemy of progress, right? So like that's what I learned with shipping the stuff. I wanted the pod to be perfect. I wanted everything, and just ship to shit, Brandon.
Just go. Yeah. By the way, all right, so now you still have control of the company, or did all this seed money cause you to have to give up? Are you still at 51% or more of the? As
not
an owner?
Quite 51%. I'm still the majority shareholder, chairman of the board, all that stuff. We do have a board.
Okay.
That I suggest I waited longer than I should have creating a board.
Okay.
You don't want to be one of these founders who doesn't listen. Like, be open to people's suggestions and stuff, and just, you're going to disagree, but okay. I've learned a lot, and even from the stuff that I disagree with, you still can learn.
So you created a board, you got these mentors by your side. Some of these early investors, I'm guessing, are on the board, and some of these folks have equity. Did you take on any debt or loans, or was it all just equity?
All equity.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't in a position with my student loans to get like any SBA loans or anything.
Okay. And none of the guys that gave you the seed money, it wasn't a convertible note or anything like that. It was just, they gave you some cash.
It was convertible notes the first round. Yeah.
Okay.
First round was convertible notes. And then all the founder group put in a substantial portion of the seed money. So Jason, Bethany, and I put in, a substantial portion of the first seed money.
All right. I appreciate you walking us through some of those early pieces around cash. I just think it's so important for people to hear. Okay.
Yeah, the thing, like, it gets so complicated. Like, the thing about that, when you have an idea, just reach out to your local entrepreneur group, SBA. I did that. Reach out to SBA. They have mentors and stuff, but just ask questions. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions, because that's the biggest.
Now, I know you had a law degree at that time, but did one of those entrepreneurs also say, "Hey, here's a template operating agreement. Here's a template unit agreement"? And I mean, did they give you all these things and say, "Hey, look here, use this or use this as a guide"? Is that how that went?
Yeah, I had a bunch of that stuff saved from law school. I did help a couple companies launch in law school.
Okay.
It was one of the kind of internship programs they have. So I did some of that. So I knew the legal side. I knew a lot about, but like creating the pitch deck, how to get right, what you should be saying in the pitch deck, what the investors want to hear, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know much about.
Okay, and then I'm gonna jump back up to where you were already servicing the customers, but 2 more quick questions. Nobody was doing this. Like, FedEx doesn't have a service for this. Nobody else on the planet's doing this at the time when you're pitching this to these guys to get the seed cash.
Yeah. So there were people doing it, but I didn't think they were doing it in the right way.
Okay.
So the big thing that part of it comes from a mentor, but a lot of it comes from experience. But like, being there were people, FedEx, you can ship with FedEx. You can ship your skis with FedEx, right? Or UPS. But the thing that we did, it's different than anybody else, is what we call it right time delivery. So, more and more people are staying at Airbnbs and HomeAways. So there's no one there to receive from FedEx. You see what I mean? So like, if you're not arriving till Friday, you want to ship your stuff, there's no one there on Wednesday.
Okay.
So you can't do it with any of our competitors. The same thing at the hotels. If you're shipping to one of the hotels, you ship the stuff ahead to the hotel, but then the hotel has to deal with it. And that causes more a burden on them. So the hotels really don't want you to ship.
But I mean, they will deal with it, but they don't like dealing with it.
Yeah, it's not there. I mean, they're a hotel, they're not a shipping company. So that's where we came up with the idea. We do right time delivery. So on the resort side, everything comes to us, and then we do the last mile ourselves.
I think so. So the stuff comes. So FedEx brings the stuff to you guys or the hotel?
To us.
I see.
And then we
Okay.
deliver it to the hotel or the home away or the Airbnb the day of or the day before arrival.
You drop it off there, or are you like waiting there when the people come and you like walk it up to their room?
We drop it off usually at the hotels. Yeah. So we're
Okay.
with the Bell staff, let them know this is a TripHero customer. They're coming in today. And that led into the next thing that we're doing, which is the outsource shipping departments. So this is one thing that, I mean, as an entrepreneur, you go into a problem, you think you're solving this one problem, but you're going to find so many others. And, it came about, we thought we were shipping skis, then the luggage. And then, we did so well with the luggage. Some of our hotels were like, Brandon, you guys are doing a great job with our luggage. What about our packages, right? So now we actually have employees. We had 7 hotels last year. We're going to double or triple that this year. We already have 7 more. But there's a TripHero employee on property doing all the guest shipping. So
wow. Okay. All
luggage,
right. All right.
skis, Amazon, wine.com, all that stuff.
So is more of your revenue coming from what the hotels are paying you now, or from clients shipping stuff?
From clients shipping stuff, mostly. But the thing is, like, we get substantial revenue from the handling fees and stuff, but it's just a good way for us to get it introduced to the customers.
Oh, I see. That's the angle. Okay. Got it. All right. Wow. All right. So, okay. You've given, so now how many employees now?
Whew. We're going to have about 25 this year.
25 employees, and your revenue has what, 10x since you started? You don't have to give me exact numbers, but
we're like 3x every year, 4x every year.
So it's going up every year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
and
crazy.
Okay. Are you worried about competition, or you just figure nobody else can do it as well?
I mean, you should always have an eye. But like we like the outsourced shipping departments and the last mile delivery, we kept real quiet till last year. But your competition is going to be researching you,
yeah.
And we literally had all of them calling about us, asking why we were how we were able to take some of these big partnerships from them, even though they're bigger, older companies, et cetera. But it's just that part I feel really lucky about is like, and it was funny when I was working as a lawyer and as a bellman and as a ski valet, and people were asking me why you did that, but like I got the on the ground experience that really gives me, I can see the problem for for the hotels. I saw the problem for everybody across the chain of custody, and we were able to take advantage of that, and that's why we
What's your Super Bowl moment so far? What's the biggest moment for you so far in this journey?
The biggest moment, like.
You've had a bunch of good ones, but what would you say is a Super Bowl moment, or a Super Bowl moment?
I still haven't gotten to the Super Bowl.
You're in the playoffs, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think of the playoffs yet. We're just trying to win a division still.
Okay, all right.
So when we get there, but and I don't never. I mean, the vision for the company is a world without baggage claim.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, just like 10 years ago, you couldn't imagine, getting your car or a ride from your phone. We think in 10 years, when you're taking a vacation, you're not going to be schlepping your stuff. It's going to be waiting for you wherever you're staying. And we want to be the one that creates that world. Okay.
So what you just said right there definitely has me sold. And I think that's a nice summary, by the way. I love how you're pitching it, because you're right. That's the pain in the ass, right? You go on these trips and you're trying to pack all this crap and lug it everywhere. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I could just call somebody and you just come get my stuff, and then I show up at my condo and my stuff's just there, and I never even have to take it to the airport or anything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're able to track it during the way, et cetera. So that's my Super Bowl, and I'm not there yet. The Super Bowl is the day that I'm able to, it's a great story. One of my early friends, early investor, he helps out with the company. His name's Chen, and he had a daughter, and he came to visit, and Home Alone happened to be on. And, the scene in Home Alone where they realized that Kevin was back. They forgot Kevin at the baggage claim.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
And so we just paused that, and Chen looks at me like, Brandon, that's it. Like, when Hannah's 10, I want her to be like, Daddy, when her first time she watches Home Alone, I want her to be like, Daddy, why would anybody take their luggage on a plane?
Love it. Love it. You don't worry that FedEx or somebody's going to come up with a division or, a subsidiary company that just does this?
Yeah, I mean, they could. I don't think, you always got to keep, and you never know what the competition is doing all the way, et cetera.
Or,
The thing with FedEx or UPS is a good thing that we're doing is they love us. We're saving them money.
mm-hmm.
So
And maybe they buy you someday.
yeah, maybe. So they have I don't want to give any proprietary information from FedEx or anything, but there's, so to put it without getting too much detail, if they're delivering to a place like Denver or New York,
Mm-hmm.
the first time delivery rate for them is super high, right?
Okay.
So, but if they're delivering to a resort like Vail or Aspen or Park City or Deer Valley, the first time delivery rate is super low.
I see.
So we're
Okay.
actually saving them money by helping them make that first time delivery rate higher,
Mm.
because everything that comes to us, we make sure it gets to that last mile.
I see. Okay. All right.
And
What?
it's an interesting space because it's not, I think one of the advantages is kind of not big enough for FedEx. I mean, they're 82 billion.
I see.
UPS is 120 billion.
Okay.
And so this space is a big enough niche, multi-billion-dollar niche, but to them it's still a niche.
Mm-hmm. What's your scariest moment so far? You wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat type of deal. Give us one of those stories where you were super worried it might all come crashing down, or has there been? Or has there been?
It happens like twice or three times a day. Yeah. So the tough thing is just like cash flows. We grew a lot this year. We had some mistakes where customers were putting in the information wrong. So it's kind of like it was a tech issue, and we lost quite a bit of money because of it, and got behind with some of our vendors. And that just balancing that and the fundraising is always tough. Even with my connections, it's tough. Like, you gotta be able to spell out the argument really well, and have the numbers, the data. So like that kind of stuff. But it's a total roller coaster, because the same day we signed one of our biggest agreements and we had like $300 in the bank. So
that I'm glad you mentioned that. I think sometimes people think, well, okay, I'm struggling right now in my startup business, but if I can just get to here, it's all going to be fine. And actually that never really happens. There's always hurdles, right?
Growth expensive.
Just constantly. Yeah. Are you trying to raise a Series A round right now, or are you still seed round, or where are you?
We're in a Series C3 right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we got about $100,000 left on the round, but we're going to be doing a big Series A kind of in spring. We just got a couple of our biggest partners in the ski industry this year. So
you're becoming an expert at raising cash.
I don't know if I'm an expert. I try. It's so time consuming. So it's really, that's the toughest part about it, is like, you have a business to run, but you also, it's more than a full-time job alone, raising money.
What's a couple of pieces of advice you would give first-time CEOs? All of a sudden they have 20 or 30 people they're looking after, and they've never even been in a supervisory role, and now they're a CEO. What's some advice for young CEOs, young first-time CEOs?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece I would say is just like getting your team aligned, and just having clear expectations for everyone. It's something I've had a challenge with. You got to dispel stuff out in way more detail than you even think, but just let everybody know like what you're kind of expecting, but at the same time realize like nobody's going to do it the exact same way you would. And that's hard, because it's a big jump, especially so when you're coming from a founder CEO role and the company grows. I used to be able to do everything. And if somebody didn't want to do it, I just do it myself. But a great quote is like, being a founding CEO is your main job is getting to a predetermined goal using other people's efforts.
I like it.
So that's something you got to do at this stage. Like, you got to realize you can't do everything. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how many hours you work. And I used to think I could outwork everything, but at a point, and I'm there, you can't get everything done.
You can't do it all.
Yeah.
And then just a couple of interview or employee interview type questions, because I know you're hiring now and you got a decent sized staff. So what do you look for? What character traits and types of personalities are you looking for when you're interviewing somebody?
Yeah. I at this stage of the company, I think it's smart for us to have kind of entrepreneurial people.
Okay.
And then, we've had some people that have been coming from, great people come from corporate type of environments, but just so chaotic in a startup and things change all the time. It's really uncomfortable for them. So
Right.
if, if you're, if you're a founder in your early stage company, just in your hitting your first million or two,
Yep.
like where we are,
Yep.
going up to 5 million, kind of where we're getting up close to somewhere in that range now.
Yeah.
But like, that's still going to be pretty chaotic.
Right.
So you're just the big question is like, hey, how comfortable are you? Chaos. Give me an example of you dealt with a situation that, you went in thinking it was going to be this way and it turned out to be this way. Because that happens all the time. And you got to, like, the outsourced shipping department. I remember the first one we did, we had no idea what we were doing. So we just had to get it. Literally, when I hired the guy, he's great. I'm like, we don't have any idea how this is going to work. So are you going to be comfortable with that? So
so true. It's so true. I have seen executives or even manager level folks from Fortune 500 companies try to come into a startup environment. It's like their head's going to pop off or something.
It stresses them out.
They just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Don't we have a process for that? Isn't that in a manual somewhere? No, sure isn't. Matter of fact, we're going to make that process today. You're going to help us write it.
Yep. And then it's going to change tomorrow.
So true. Oh, man. Two last questions here. So you're probably, do you mind me asking how old you are? What are you, 40, 38, 40?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right in there. So when you look back now, would you give any particular advice to that young man, finishing his undergrad? What would you tell him?
So somebody that's interested in being in the startup world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that kind of person, ship the shit. Like, that's, so whatever your idea is, get $1 for it. Like, get that first paying customer as quick as you can. Like, if I had started when I came up with the idea in 2013, and we didn't launch till 2015, 2 years wasted. And that you're never going to learn as much as when you actually start doing it. Market research is one thing, but just do it. Like, get out there and do it. Yeah, just go for it. I mean, I don't care. You're not going to think it's ever right. So just get that out of your mind. That perfect thing again, just get out there and start doing it. Whether it's whatever your idea is, get it out there and don't give it away for free. Get somebody to pay for it. That's when you know you have something.
You're right. It's just so true. I really encourage the same thing. And I talk to people about this all the time. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect plan and the perfect logos and the perfect colors and the perfect 5-year financial model. And it's just not going to go that way anyway. So
it's just, you're fighting a losing cause if you're even thinking about it.
Yeah. You're just, what I like to tell people is you're just playing Monopoly. You're not actually in a real business here. So the minute you start servicing customers and cash starts hitting the bank, then you can kind of build the rest of it as you move along. I agree. Really agree. So right now, you mentioned you were married earlier, kids at all?
Yeah. I just had our first daughter in July.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now you're running this young business and you got your first kid as well. Okay. Yeah. You're busy.
I'm an expert on timing.
Yeah. The graduation timing. Hey, sweetheart, let's have a child right now. Even though I'm super stressed and the business is scaling up. Okay. Yeah. You got it going on right now. What's Brandon's core purpose in life when he wakes up every day right now? If you had to put that in a sentence or two.
Yeah. Like, I have it in a sentence. That's something I recommend, like having all that stuff like written down and like your goals and your purpose, your values, all that stuff. And I've always done that. So, to explore the world and to inspire people to seek and explore themselves. Like, it's so weird. Like the vision with the world without baggage claim is like inspires me, but the travel part is really important to me, but the, inspiring people and being an example to let, especially with my background, like, coming from nothing. And I hope to be an example and an inspiration to other people in the future that they can do stuff that you could never believe that you could actually do.
You are an inspiration, my man. That's why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because I think you have a great story. I love it. I love the fact that I can just almost visualize you talking to that billionaire while you're walking through the resort hallway saying, "Hey, Johnny, how'd you do that? How'd you do this? What do you think I should do?"
I was so nervous. I was literally almost threw up. Like,
I love it. I love it. You gave really some great advice and some good tips on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on everything you guys are doing at TripHero. Really, I mean, super proud of everything you've accomplished already and happy for you. By the way, it's gotriphero.com, right?
That's it. Yep.
Gotriphero.com. And you can ship anything. So if somebody's about to go on a trip and they don't want to deal with shipping their stuff and going to baggage claim, go to gotriphero.com and they can take care of you.
Yep. Right? Sure will. And there's a number too, because the website's not perfect. Like that for first time customers, a lot of times it's better to call the 688-970-688-7080 just to run them through all the steps.
Okay.
And then, websites, we're working on that, but like it's a perfect example. You're never going to be all the way happy with any part of it, but just like you can't make a happy customer if you're not doing it either.
I totally agree. I think at Riderflex, we make a tweak to the website every week, I think. So there's something we're changing on it. So I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Brandon, great job. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being on the Riderflex podcast. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to getting to see you in person. I hope I can come up to Vail and we can have a drink and celebrate your success. So thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yep.
Appreciate it.
That'd be awesome.
All right, man. Take care.
Yep. Bye now.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.